Hello, and welcome to the How to Pass the Colorado's Driver Test podcast. I'm Theodore Reynolds from Mindtree Exponential. At MindTreeX, we look for ways to enrich content to improve its ability to help students learn. Reading text is a lot like trying to eat a pile of raw vegetables. Enriching the text, say by turning it into audio content, throwing in some music, and adding a few sound effects, and bam, you got yourself some tasty ice cream. Well, at least, tasty ice cream for your brain. For now, here's a small cone of ice cream learning to help you pass the Colorado Driver Test. This is an enriched audio production of the official Colorado Driver Handbook. To get a free copy of the PDF of the Colorado Driver Handbook, and some other free toppings for your ice cream, please visit howtopassthecoloradodrivertest.com. Enjoy. 11. Safe driving tips. Everything that is contained in this manual is for the purpose of eliminating driver error. If you obey every highway rule and regulation, your chances of being involved in an accident will be greatly reduced. However, can you be certain that other drivers are following every rule and regulation? It is important that you become a defensive driver. Defensive driving is driving to protect yourself and others from dangerous and unexpected driving situations, as well as everyday driving. 11.1 Steering. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. The two most effective positions are 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock for vehicles without airbags, and 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock for vehicles with airbags. When turning corners, use the hand over hand or grip and slide method. Do not turn the wheel with the palm of your hand. Letting the wheel slip through your fingers could be dangerous. Steering lock. Never turn your vehicle's ignition to the lock position while it is still in motion. This will cause the steering to lock if you turn the steering wheel, and you will lose control of your vehicle. (11.2) Scanning. To be a good driver, you must know what is happening around your vehicle. You must look ahead, to the sides, and behind the vehicle. When you are turning, driving through, or entering an intersection, always look left, right, and left again. Scanning helps you to see problems ahead, vehicles and people that may be in the road or on the shoulder by the time you reach them, and warning signs of problems ahead and signs giving you directions. Look ahead. In order to avoid last-minute braking or the need to turn abruptly, you should look down the road at least 10 seconds ahead of your vehicle. In the city, 1 block. On the open road, 1/2 mile. By looking well ahead and by being ready to stop or change lanes if needed, you can drive more safely, save on fuel, and help keep traffic moving at a steady pace. Look to the sides. As other vehicles or pedestrians may cross or enter your path at any time, you should look to both sides to watch for potential trouble. Look behind. You must check traffic behind you. This is the only way to know if someone is following too closely or coming up too fast, and it will give you time to do something about it. You need to check more often when traffic is heavy. It is very important to look behind you when you change lanes, slow down, back up, or are driving down a long or steep hill. 11.3. Following another vehicle. CRS 42-4-1008-1. Following too closely. The driver of a motor vehicle shall not follow another vehicle more closely than is reasonable and prudent, having due regard for the speed of such vehicles and the traffic upon and the condition of the highway. Under normal conditions, use the 3-second rule. Watch the car ahead of you. When it passes a reference point, such as a mile marker, sign, or telephone pole, then count 1001, 1002, 1003. If you pass that reference point before you finish counting, you are following too closely. It is also important to consider weather, road conditions, the amount of traffic, and time of day. If the road is slick, the stopping distance required is greatly increased. 11.4. Adjusting to traffic. Keep pace with traffic in a reasonable and prudent manner. If you are going faster than traffic, you will have to keep passing others. Each time you pass someone, there is a chance for collision. Driving considerably slower than other vehicles can be just as bad as speeding. It tends to make vehicles bunch up behind you and causes the other traffic to try to pass you. Remember to obey all posted speed limits. Wherever people or traffic gather, your time and room to maneuver is limited. These areas require slower speeds and increased observation. Shopping centers, schools, playgrounds, residential streets, rush hour traffic, narrow bridges, and toll plazas. 11.6. Entering the freeway. High-speed roadways generally have acceleration ramps to give you time to build up your speed. When entering a freeway from an on-ramp, try to increase your speed to match that of the freeway traffic. Do not merge into traffic until the solid white line has ended. Do not stop in the acceleration lane unless absolutely necessary. Remember, you must yield the right-of-way to the traffic already on the freeway. Some freeway entrance ramps have traffic signals which regulate the release of vehicles onto a freeway to allow easier merging and a smoother traffic flow. Motorists on the metered ramps will be required to stop and wait to be released on a green light to enter the freeway. The ramp signals operate during morning peak times, 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., and evening peak periods, 3:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. 11.6a. Freeway driving. Freeway driving is different from driving on a regular street or highway. Mainly, the highways are designed to move a greater volume of traffic at a higher rate of speed. Traffic moving at less than the normal speed should always use the right lane. To be courteous to vehicles entering the freeway, you should change to the left or center lane if you can do so safely and without slowing the traffic flow. Observe the movement of traffic well ahead of you, around you, and behind you. Be particularly aware of any vehicles traveling in your blind spots. Plan ahead. Look for directional signs and guidance signs. Signal at least 200 feet before you change lanes, avoiding frequent lane changes. Do not drive across, over, or within any median or island. 11.6b. Leaving the freeway. When exiting the freeway, you must use the deceleration lane. This lane is designed to allow you to slow down before reaching the exit ramp without being a hazard to other vehicles on the freeway. Enter the deceleration lane at approximately the speed you were going on the freeway. Then slow down after you have entered the deceleration lane to the advisory speed. 11.7. Changing lanes. You must check for possible hazards or vehicles in the lane you want to enter. This means you must check for traffic ahead, to the side, and behind your vehicle before you change lanes. Changing lanes includes changing from one lane to another, passing another vehicle, merging onto a roadway from an entrance ramp, and entering the roadway from the curb or shoulder. When changing lanes, you should 1. Turn on your signal. 2. Check your mirrors. 3. Check your blind spot. Look over your shoulder. 4. If it is safe, you may change lanes. 5. Turn off your signal after completing the lane change. 11.8. Passing. Whenever signs or road markers permit you to pass, you will have to judge whether you have enough room to pass safely. If you do, follow the 5 steps for changing lanes. Return to the driving lane when you can see both headlights of the other vehicle in your inside rear view mirror. Using the 5 steps for changing lanes again. Do not count on having enough time to pass several cars at once. To be safe, as a general rule, only pass one vehicle at a time. Do not pass. If you cannot safely return to the right-hand side before coming within 200 feet of an oncoming vehicle, including a bicyclist in the oncoming lane or shoulder. If you cannot safely return to the right-hand side before the solid yellow line begins. If passing a bicyclist, you can briefly cross a solid yellow line when there is no oncoming traffic and you have a clear view ahead. On a curve or hill when your view is obstructed. Within 100 feet of a marked or unmarked intersection or railroad crossing. Within 100 feet of any bridge, viaduct, or tunnel when view is obstructed. A bicyclist, unless you can allow a minimum 3 feet buffer zone between your vehicle, including mirrors, and the bicyclist. You may pass another vehicle on the right side of a one-way street or on a roadway with 2 or more lanes of traffic in each direction. At no time shall such pass be made by driving off the pavement of the main traveled portion of the roadway. 11.9 Hills and Curves. You may not know what is on the other side of a hill or just around a curve, even if you have driven the road hundreds of times. If an obstruction is in the road just over a hill or around a curve, you must be able to stop. A vehicle can travel much faster in a straight line than it can in a curve. If you go too fast, the tires will not be able to grip the road and the vehicle will skid. Always slow down before reaching the curve and accelerate only after passing the middle of the curve. 11.10 Night Driving. Driving in the evening, at dusk, at night, and just prior to sunrise is normally more hazardous than driving during daylight hours. This is due to limited visibility. The limited area illuminated by your headlights and the blinding effect of high beam lights or low beam lights with fog lights. Colorado law requires you to drive with your headlights on from sunset to sunrise or when visibility is less than 1,000 feet. Parking lights must be illuminated on any vehicle parked alongside the roadway, whether attended or not, from sunset to sunrise, or whenever visibility is less than 1,000 feet. Tips for driving at night. Tips for driving at night. Use your bright lights when driving in rural areas and on open highways away from urban and metropolitan areas. If you are driving with your high beam lights on or your low beam lights with fog lights on, you must dim them before coming within 500 feet of any oncoming vehicle, so the oncoming driver is not blinded by the glare. When following another vehicle, you must use your low beam lights with your fog lights off if you are within 200 feet of the vehicle ahead of you. Never look directly into an approaching car's headlights. As the car draws near, watch the right edge of your lane, noting the position of the oncoming car out of the corner of your eye. When driving through fog at night, it is best to use your low beam lights and fog lights, if you have them. Driving with high beam lights is like shining your lights on a mirror. Be alert to vehicles, particularly darker vehicles, traveling after sunset without their headlights on. 11.11 Bad Weather. In bad weather conditions such as rain, fog, ice, wind, and dust, you should slow your speed and drive at a speed that is safe for the conditions. When roads are wet, they may become very slippery when water mixes with oil, grease, and exhaust particles on the roadway. These conditions affect all types of vehicles, including front-wheel drive, sport utility, four-wheel drive, and all-wheel drive vehicles. Hydroplaning is a natural phenomenon whereby the water forms a very thin but very strong film on the highway. This film can actually support your vehicle. Your tires may have absolutely no contact with the roadway. This is extremely dangerous, for you have little or no control of your vehicle. A vehicle may hydroplane at speeds as low as 50 miles per hour, in water 1/8 of an inch deep. If it feels like your tires have lost traction with the surface of the road, you should ease your foot off the gas pedal, or, if engaged, immediately turn off your cruise control and allow your vehicle to slow down and regain traction. If the highway is wet or icy, do not use cruise control. Keep the steering wheel straight. Do not try to stop or turn until your tires are gripping the road again. An increasing number of new vehicles are equipped with rear fog lights. These lights help to reduce rear-end collisions in severe weather conditions. If your vehicle is equipped with rear fog lights, use them when driving in heavy fog, rain, or similar weather conditions. Be sure to switch them off once the conditions are clear. 11.11a Snow and Ice. Streets and highways covered with snow, snowpack, or ice are extremely hazardous. They are most hazardous when the snow or ice begins to melt. The slush or wet surface acts as a lubricant and traction is reduced. Overpasses, bridges, shaded areas, and snow-packed portions of the road can be very icy, even when other pavement is not. If you begin to skid, let up on the accelerator and turn the front wheels in the direction of the skid. Here are a few simple precautions which you should follow. 1. Make sure your tires have good tread for adequate traction. In winter, chains or snow tires are certainly preferable. However, remember that even chains and snow tires will slip on slick pavement. 2. Make sure your brakes are in good condition and properly adjusted so that the braking power of each wheel is uniform. Anti-lock brakes. Apply the brakes with the hard, firm pressure from the start of the skid and maintain this pressure until you have stopped. You may feel or hear vibrations and or pulsations. This is normal. 3. Keep the windows clear by making certain the defrosters and windshield wipers are working properly. Use a good window scraper to remove all ice, snow, and frost, even if you are just traveling a short distance. Fogging or condensation of moisture on the inside of the windshield can quickly be removed by opening the side vent windows. 4. Be alert for snowplows and sanding trucks. They use flashing yellow and blue lights as a warning for you to use extreme caution when approaching or passing them. 5. Maintain an extra large space between you and the car ahead. 6. Start gradually by using a low gear and accelerating gently. 11.12 Mountain driving. Mountain driving can be very different from normal driving conditions. Some hazards you should be aware of are steep hills, changing weather, wildlife, and rocks in the roadway. If your vehicle experiences difficulty traveling up steep roadways, pull off the road at the first place you may do so safely, or stay in the right lane to allow other vehicles to pass. Here are some added tips. Pay special attention to speed limit signs and warning signs, such as those warning of curves, steep hills, or other hazards. Watch for bicyclists near the right side of the road. Use a lower gear to control speeds while going up or down long, steep hills. You must yield to vehicles going uphill if you are traveling downhill on a narrow road. Do not coast downhill by shifting into neutral or disengaging the clutch. 11.13 Rural driving. When driving in rural or country areas, there are a number of special situations that require attention. Watch for driveways, farm equipment, railroad crossings that might not be marked, and bridges that are narrow or poorly surfaced. Some intersections may be hidden by trees, brush, and crops. Animals are often found wandering along the roadway. Extra care and slower speeds should be used when driving on gravel roads because of the reduced traction due to the road surface. The road surface can be affected by loose gravel, slippery conditions after rain or snow, ruts in the driving lanes, and washboard conditions. When approaching oncoming vehicles, watch for soft shoulders or the absence of shoulders. 11.14 Construction zones. Every year, drivers are faced with highway construction and maintenance projects, which are designed to improve the efficiency and safety of our transport systems. Every construction or maintenance operation creates a work zone with equipment, workers, and in some cases, daily changes to the road that you may be used to driving. In advance of these projects are signs, cones, and other devices designed to warn you of the upcoming changes and hazards associated with the road construction. These changes and additions require you to stay alert and focused at all times while driving. Large construction projects can have complex work zones with flaggers, portable concrete barriers, complicated directional signing, and reduced speed limits to safely direct you through the work zone. The reduced speed limits are critical because they give drivers more time to understand and react to the information, and reduced speed allows more time to safely drive through the complex assortment of devices, workers, and equipment. Unfortunately, there is no way to completely separate drivers from these work zone hazards, which places the construction crew at additional risk. Not only are these workers dealing with the construction dangers associated with heavy equipment, excavation, power lines, and other activities, but they are constantly on guard for vehicles that may stray into the work area. Your safety, your passenger's safety, and the safety of those workers depends on you. Of the 1,267 road construction related deaths nationally since 1992, 147 happened in Colorado. Because of this, increased police enforcement is routinely added to construction projects in order to ensure drivers understand the importance of complying with signs and directions given in work zones. The fines have been doubled for most of the violations that occur in these work zones. So remember, when driving on Colorado's highways, if you encounter a work zone, for your own safety and the safety of the workers, 1. Pay attention. Use extra caution and stay focused on the driving task. 2. Obey all construction signs, including work zone speed limit signs and flagger instructions. 3. Watch the vehicle in front of you. Most work zone crashes are rear-end collisions due to an inattentive driver. 4. Drive calmly and avoid entanglements with aggressive drivers. 5. Remember to require all occupants to buckle up. This includes making sure children are in the back seat and also properly secured in the vehicle. Before we go, I will just ask you to remember this. Millions and millions of people have already passed this driver test, or one just like it. You can pass it too. And listening to one of these podcast episodes every day will give you a huge advantage. So I expect to see you back here for the next episode.